Hey there, this is One Boom, and today's video is a simple gameplay commentary. The gameplay in the background is a domination match here that went right down to the wire. I had to PTFO pretty hard. It's not my best gameplay, but I'm happy I was able to pull out a win. As for the commentary, we're going to be talking about maps in regards to Black Ops 7. Maps are always a hot topic in the COD community, but to me, the answer to every debate about this was just a series of very difficult to ignore facts. I know that sounds obnoxious, but I've been talking about this subject for feels like 7 years, 8 years now. And before I launch into this topic again for Black Ops 7, let me be clear. Not every map that follows a generalized design language is going to be 100% bad or 100% good. That's not how things work. Gameplay design elements, such as footsteps, movement, perks, time to kill, flinch, visibility, as well as others that I forgot, play a huge role in how a Call of Duty game plays. It's not just the map design language, it's not just the general concept of maps. No, the point of this video is not to demonize your favorite style of map. That would be a waste of our time. Instead, what I'd like to talk about is rules versus guidelines, and why I think Call of Duty has lost a bit of its spark when it comes to your general gaming sessions, player retention, and just how engagements play in general. With the release of Black Ops 6, a lot of people on Twitter and YouTube, Reddit, seemingly just noticed that maps have gotten way too simple and weirdly hectic and TikTok-brained. Where were these people during Black Ops 3 and 4? And either way, the best player retention we've actually seen in the last 6 years has been Modern Warfare 3, a game that launched with the entire roster of Modern Warfare 2 2009 maps. While Modern Warfare 3 didn't outsell every other COD game or anything like that, Modern Warfare 3 had the best consistent player retention throughout its life cycle. And then Call of Duty as a series captured the attention of millions of people with the ground-breaking multiplayer sensation that was Call of Duty 4 through Black Ops 2. Games with a wide variety of maps and map design languages, and with those maps, even COD's lesser performing titles outsold the competition, outplayed the competition, people were hooked. It's a pattern that still exists to this day, minus the maps, because the map situation in Call of Duty is something that developers are still clearly very conflicted about and don't understand what people want. To go from MW2 with its own unique roster of maps that were a very mixed bag, but mostly considered to be very boring, and then Modern Warfare 3 just brought back an entire roster of original maps from Modern Warfare 2.09, and then Black Ops 6 with its map design that's very, small, very simplistic, very clear corners. Some people even thought that the maps were 2-lane instead of 3-lane because of how simplistic and narrow they are. But the maps being up in the air and being this weird thing the devs can't figure out is the problem. So I am so glad that out of all of the years of me making videos on this, we have had a modern COD game came out with old maps from Modern Warfare 2.09 and proceeded to maintain that player base throughout the entire life cycle. It makes making my point so much easier. I used Modern Warfare 2 as an example in my old videos about how map design used to be more engaging and was the reason that Call of Duty became a sensation. And then they literally release a game with the entire launch roster of MW209 maps, and the player retention was excellent. So I think to myself, maybe I'm not totally stupid. Maybe I was kind of onto something. I have some evidence for it now. I'm happy. Maps are where everything happens, literally everything. If it's not happening on a map, it's happening in a menu, which is why both should be built with care. But somewhere along the line, Call of Duty developers started to look at popular maps like Raid, Express, and Hijacked as sort of a new rule for map creation, instead of looking at them as the separate archetype they should have, or a framework, or just a type of map. Look, most maps can be distilled into a 3-lane structure. So saying 3-lane map, you're basically describing most of every FPS map ever made. But creating that as a rule, where the maps have to be 3-lane, and worse, symmetrical, is a huge mistake, because the entire population of the COD fandom, the entire group of people that were into COD from COD 4 through Black Ops 2 enjoyed maps, enjoyed the games that had a design language of passive objectives. What are passive objectives? A passive objective is when you have something on the map that you just want to have, whether it's a hill, a house, a building, a bunker, a trench, whatever it might be, players want it. You might call it a power position, but it also could just be an interesting route. So think of Point du Hoc from COD World War II and the trenches. Think of Estate from Modern Warfare 2 and the main cabin house, or the middle tower on Rust, which is a high-risk, high-reward opportunity place that people fight over. Black Ops 2 is the same way. Maps like Yemen and Drone and Turbine had power positions, places that people would rather be, sides of the map that you'd rather have. You wanted different things on different maps. And when you are in a place that isn't just laid out as a symmetrical, sort of easy pathway that funnels you into enemies, when you're playing in a location that has variance, again, trenches, bunkers, buildings, height advantages, turrets, things like that, people want to play over those. I mean, Call of Duty maps used to be littered in turrets compared to now. They don't do that anymore, but they used to put turrets around the map because controlling a turret meant you control the part of the map, and you want to have things that players want on the maps. Halo does this, not only in its original map design, but Halo did it by having weapons and vehicles and turrets placed around the map that players could control. When things have advantages and disadvantages, you have things to play for, but unfortunately in games like Black Ops 6, you don't really have the advantages and disadvantages, you don't really have the asymmetry, you have a full symmetry, or you just have a map design that doesn't really give you the option to approach the power position in a way that's interesting, so you sort of just funnel into gunfire constantly. This is tiring, this is exhausting, this is something that people are getting tired of. It makes the game feel sweatier than it already would be when you're just forcing people down other people's sites all the time. I think people enjoyed playing Modern Warfare 3 when it came out and kept playing it because it didn't just exhaust them and burn them out of dopamine immediately. But the dopamine conversation is one for a different video. Even a really good 3-lane map that I love would have pros and cons, right? There'd be some things you'd like about it and some things you might not like about it. Some advantages to the design, some disadvantages. Raid is considered a fantastic map. Raid is a fantastic map in Call of Duty. Like, it is an all-timer for sure. I don't really have many cons with it, but somebody else might. Somebody else might not like that it's symmetrical. Some people might not like the flank routes being as limited as they are. People might not like how the middle of that map plays. And most of all, someone might just find the general layout of that map to be incredibly boring. So if every map you then release in a COD game sort of follows the rule of even a good map, then all of your maps will not only just feel the same and become repetitive just in a basic sense, they will also just have that same pro and con for that person. If a player isn't in the mood for one of those cons, the entire game becomes off the table if most of the maps are just following that design structure as a rule, instead of as a guideline, a general guideline. Raid as a map in Black Ops 2 is not designed to be the standard. Raid used the 3-lane structure of the average Call of Duty map, and just that's it. It used it. Even larger maps like Yemen in Black Ops 2 still utilized this map design, and maps like, Derail from MW2 still utilize that 3-lane map design. But again, if you're using the same design language to design all of your maps, then they will all essentially have the same pros and cons, meaning if somebody's not in the mood for that, the game is off the table. Just want to reiterate that before I move on here, because luckily, Treyarch released a video talking about how with Black Ops 7, they sort of are slowing the pace down. They heard the feedback of the Black Ops 6 maps. They're giving people a little bit of room to breathe in between engagements, which is great to hear. Apparently they're doing that through map design and also slowing down a lot of the Omni movement spam that was happening in Black Ops 6, which is really great to hear. And they said that they are willing to break the rules when it comes to their 3-lane map design. It's really funny they said that. It's really funny they said break the rules, because that's them literally admitting that the 3-lane design is more of a dogma in their studio than a basic general framework to build an interesting combat landscape around. Them talking about wanting to give players time to breathe in between gunfights is great to hear. Maybe there has been some self-awareness as to the overcorrections we've been dealing with for years after Modern Warfare 2019. And I have to imagine it's because they went through and remastered every Black Ops 2 map. According to the leaks, every Black Ops 2 map got remastered, which is why we're getting, like, I believe Meltdown and Yemen probably in Season 1. And so we're probably going to get all of the Black Ops 2 maps. And I think, like, just simple here, just my personal take, I think you'd have to be pretty stupid not to learn a few things about what makes a great COD map after going through that roster of maps. I think after the player retention success of Modern Warfare 3 having primarily maps from the original Modern Warfare 2, and then them going through Black Ops 2's maps to remaster them, I think they maybe hopefully have learned a lesson, which is great. A lot of these Treyarch guys, they haven't been doing it since 2010. A lot of them are newer. It's not the same team that made World at War over here, guys. And I feel like maybe they're learning some lessons from Black Ops 6, and now they're learning some lessons from some of the greats, like hopefully what Modern Warfare 3 did with the MW2 maps and what we have with the Black Ops 2 remasters. Black Ops 2 has one of the best launch rosters in FPS map history, and I'm excited to see that if this long-awaited sequel to that game can actually deliver the variety, balance, and intrigue that Black Ops 2 did. Because Black Ops 2 play sessions were an adventure. You went from turbine to drone to Yemen to Aftermath to cargo to raid to Nuketown to slums. It was a variety-filled playground, and it looks like they're really going for variety this year, both in terms of aesthetics and design. We're getting 16 maps at launch, with only 3 of them being from Black Ops 2. That's not bad. Unfortunately, it's the 3 Black Ops 2 maps that Treyarch can't seem to let go of, which is Express, Raid, and Hijacked, because those are the maps that I feel like a lot of Treyarch map design is based off of. I feel like Black Ops 3, 4, and Cold War, and Black Ops 6 can owe a lot of their problems to those maps being their design dogma instead of a, type of map. I think Call of Duty should have some simple, symmetrical 3-lane maps with nice visibility and clear sightlines, but I would love to see a COD studio just kind of go half and half. Like, half of the maps are messy, convoluted, maybe even the visibility's a little bad on them, oh my gosh, and the other half is more competitive and more clean cut and symmetrical. I would adore that. I think that would make a play session a lot of fun, and I hope we're leaning more in that direction, maybe not all the way there, but more in that direction than away from it. Anyway, that's enough of me rambling here. Let me know if you guys like the video. Sorry if I sound a little stuffed up. It's because my nose is stuffed up. That's what causes that. And yeah, feel free to like and subscribe. Hit the bell icon to get notified when I live stream, and I will see you when I see you. Goodbye.